My internet boyfriend likes to role play. Or so I thought. When his mom yelled at him to come downstairs for dinner, he'd text me heading to the family estate to dine with the matriarch. I learned from the best. So when my broke friends came over for cheap beer and poker, and we needed a fourth player, I text him, high-stakes game with the trust fund brooding types. If I'm not there, the table doesn't move. He bought it hook, line, and sinker. I always thought we were just a couple of delusional weirdos, flirting through our fake glamorous personas, a pair of abstract lovers living in a fantasy. That was until the holidays rolled around, and he decided to add me to his childhood friends group chat. We all grew up together, he texted. They're dying to meet you, babe. I opened the group member list and froze. My blood ran cold. Why the hell was the terrifying, stone-faced CEO of my Fortune 500 company in this chat? Nickname: Julian's loyal bitch. Oh, right. My boyfriend's name is Julian. Suddenly my big boss, the guy who could fire me with a blink, tagged me in the chat. Julian's loyal bitch or Chloe, sister-in-law, say something. Don't leave us hanging. Julian's loyal bitch.
Cutecat, GPG.
I couldn't move. I literally couldn't feel my fingers. I thought we were just trolling. I thought we were playing fake it till you make it. Why do you guys actually have fuck you money? Honestly, I sensed the vibe was off the second Julian added me. The four-man brothers club was deep in conversation. Ignoring my entry for a hot second, I read their messages, and my stomach started to churn. Spencer to crush his ass this time. Julian's loyal bitch. You couldn't beat me last year. You think you got the balls this year? Archer? Count me out. I have to take my fiancée to St. Bart's Archer. She needs vacation content for the gram. Spencer.
Yikes.
Good luck, bro. That girl is high maintenance. I stared at my screen, rubbing my chin. Something was wrong. Seriously wrong. These names, why do they look so familiar? Actually this, Julian's loyal bitch, aka Liam. The name Liam was familiar, but his profile picture, a candid shot of him skiing in professional gear, looked terrifyingly familiar. While I was hyperventilating, the group finally noticed me. Julian's loyal bitch.
Jo.
There's a new body in the chat. Julian. Intro time, boys. Let's behave. This is my girlfriend. He tagged me. The chat went dead silent for 2 seconds. And the messages flooded in like a tsunami. Spencer, sister-in-law. Julian's loyal bitch, sister-in-law, Archer. Welcome to the madhouse. Julian's loyal bitch. Finally, Julian. You dog, you finally let us meet her. Julian's loyal bitch. I'm dying to know what kind of goddess managed to tame our boy, Julian. I felt a little shy. Just a little. I've been dating Julian for over 2 years. And this was the first interaction with his inner circle. I was about to type something cute and vaguely rich sounding. But then I glanced at Julian's loyal bitch's profile picture again. My fingers locked up. I remembered where I'd seen that face. My brain buzzed like a broken fridge. I immediately swiped out of the chat, opened Safari, and went to my company's official website, Apex Tech. I frantically scrolled through the news section until I found it, a photo from 3 months ago celebrating a merger with a foreign firm. There he was, young, sharp suit, unsmiling face that screamed, "I fire people for fun," standing next to foreign dignitaries looking like he owned the place. As he did, I stared at the caption. The name Liam Sterling burned my retinas. Liam Sterling, the CEO of Apex Tech, also known as the only son of the company's founder. What the fuck? The group chat notifications were popping off. Julian's loyal bitch, H. Chloe. Damn sis, your username is hilarious. LOL. Julian's loyal bitch. How did you manage to bag Julian? Julian's loyal bitch, say something. We don't bite hard.
Julian's loyal bitch cat GPG.
The cute cat sticker spun on my screen mocking me. I smashed a panic greeting sticker into the chat and bailed. Immediately. My hands were shaking so bad, I almost dropped my phone. I opened my private chat with Julian, trying to sound casual. Like a nonchalant queen. Me, babe. Your loyal bitch friend. Looks kind of familiar. Julian replied instantly, yeah, he's a chaotic idiot. Did he scare? Are you Julian? That's Liam. He's the CEO of Apex Tech. Your family business is extensive. Maybe you've run into him at a gala or something. My brain was cooked. A gala. I eat instant noodles in my underwear. Julian. While replying to Julian, I started Googling everyone in that group chat, like a forensic detective on Adderall. And then my heart officially died. Spencer, youngest son of the real estate tycoon, currently failing upwards in grad school in the US. Archer, second son of a massive construction conglomerate, a certified trust fund baby. I couldn't even think straight. My fingers went rogue and typed Julian into the Google search bar. Julian Sterling, grandson of the founder of Sterling Corp., the youngest board member in history, driving force behind their tech innovation. Net worth. I counted the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. I gasped so hard I choked on my own spit. Holy shit. Back in the group chat, Julian's loyal bitch was still yapping. So seriously, how did you two meet? Spill the tea. We need details.
Julian online.
I told you we met on the internet. Julian's loyal bitch. Can we get the NSFW version though? Online dating is scary, but finding out you accidentally catfished a billionaire is straight up a horror movie. I met Julian because of a shit post. Someone posted, "Why is one sausage $3 but two sausages are $5?" I thought the op was hilarious, so I commented, "Bro, did you skip the tutorial on how to spend money like an idiot after buying the $9.99 membership?" He replied instantly, "Right? Math is hard." He called me smart, said I was sharp in my 24 years of mediocre existence. It was the first time a stranger validated my brain cells. So, aggressively, we started talking and we moved to WeChat. It wasn't anything serious until he saw I played League of Legends. "Is it fun?" he asked. "Hell yeah," I bragged. "You want in? I'll carry you. I'm a beast." "Okay. Let me buy a max level account. I know the lore, but I haven't played. Don't get mad if I suck." We gamed for 3 months. Turns out he sucked at the game, but his personality top tier. He didn't rage, didn't scream slurs, had a voice deeper than the Mariana Trench, and most importantly, he wasn't illiterate. We started e-dating and let me tell you, this man was my type, but he said weird abstract shit all the time. When his mom called him for dinner, returning to the ancestors' hall to accompany the Empress Dowager. When his civil servant friend called, my associate in the government needs a rendezvous. Clandestine stuff when he rejected a blind date. I do not partake in the archaic ritual of arranged dynasty mergers. I learned I adapted when my girls came over for poker, a gathering of the aristocratic heiresses. High stakes only when I went to a concert. Checking in on a struggling artist I patronize. I ordered sketchy takeout. Investing in a high-risk culinary startup. Julian loved it. Our lifestyles are so similar. He'd text. I'd send a cheers emoji. We are soulmates. I thought we were just two broke millennials coping with humor. I didn't realize I was the only one acting. You assholes actually have the lifestyle I was joking about. I sat at my cubicle staring at my phone like it was a bomb. Sarah, my coworker and fellow wage slave, poked me. "Chloe, get off your phone," she hissed. She leaned in whispering. "Word on the street is the CEO is doing a surprise inspection today. Liam himself. Don't get caught slacking." Sarah and I joined the company at the same time. In a department full of nepotism babies and Ivy League snobs, we were the only distantly average grunts. We stuck together for survival. She knew my background was painfully middle class. Getting into Apex Tech took all my blood, sweat, and tears. If I got caught slacking, I wouldn't just lose a bonus. I'd be on the chopping block for next quarter's layoffs. "Thanks, babe." I snapped out of it. That's Liam or Julian's loyal bitch.
Buzz. Buzz.
The group chat vibrated. Liam, Julian's loyal bitch, can't chat. Busy Archer. Where are you going? Dinner later. Liam doing rounds at the departments. This was it. The Travis bloodline ended with a 6-fingered baby, who screamed like a banshee. If it had been a girl, they probably would have left it at a fire station. But it was a boy, a damaged boy.
But still a boy.
They took him home. But the atmosphere was funeral grim. Chapter 18's orders. How to look like I work. Liam, Chloe. Sister-in-law. Catch you later, Liam.
I owe you dinner sometime. Liam, kutekat.jpg arker.
Aren't you near the company, Liam? Yeah, 5 minutes out gone. 10 minutes later I saw him. The goofy meme spamming guy from the chat. Transformed into a golden god of corporate power. Liam walked down the hallway flanked by terrified managers. Perfect suit, hair slicked back. Not a single smile. The supervisors who usually treated us like dirt were bowing and scraping like medieval peasants. He didn't stop in marketing for long. His gaze didn't land on me for even a second. To people like them, we are NPCs. Background textures. It's a waste of energy to even look at us. If Liam was this untouchable, what about Julian? Julian Sterling, a level above Liam. In that moment, the crushing reality of the gap between us hit me like a grand piano. I have to break up with. Better to bail now than catch a fraud charge. Or be blacklisted by every major company in the state. When they find out I'm a lying gold digger. I cherish this job. I need the health insurance. These rich boys don't like girlfriends. Julian will get over it in a week. He'll probably laugh about that weird poor girl on his yacht. But their egos are fragile. They hate being tricked. And I didn't mean to trick him. I was just being abstract. My abstract girl persona shattered into a million pieces. Over the next few days, I became a nightmare. I started picking fights with Julian on purpose. I was unreasonable. I was toxic. I was a bitch. At first, Julian tried to calm me down. He was patient. Eventually, even he cracked. If something going on, you've been acting crazy lately. Just tell me what's wrong. This was it. My exit strategy. Did you just call me crazy? I typed furiously. Are you gaslighting me, Julian?
Me fine.
I get it. You're bored of me.
Me.
We're done. Let's break up. Sent, blocked. Deleted, contact removed. SIM card.
Okay.
Not really, but felt like it. Mission accomplished. The billionaire threat was neutralized. I sat in my empty, cheap apartment and felt miserable. God damn it. Why couldn't Julian be poor? He was kind, funny, patient, and sounded hot. I actually liked him. Like, really liked him. But then I realized, of course, he's patient and calm. He's rich. Stress doesn't exist when you can buy a new life. Single life sucked. I was depressed. Sarah noticed instantly. Chloe, you okay? I sighed, staring at my spreadsheet. Dumped my boyfriend. She looked shocked, then gave my shoulder a sympathetic squeeze. Before I could wallow, my section chief yelled across the room. Chloe, you look bored. Go downstairs and grab my Starbucks order. I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt again. Always this department treats me as Sarah, like personal assistants because we don't have rich daddies. I'll go, Sarah offered. Seeing my face, no. I stood up, grabbing my badge. I need the fresh air. I might punch someone if I stay here. I dragged my feet to the lobby, grabbed the chief's overpriced latte, and turned to head back to the elevators. The VIP elevator door slid open. Liam and his entourage stepped out. I froze. The lobby was expansive, a marble and glass cathedral dedicated to capitalism, but suddenly it felt like a broom closet. Liam Sterling was 10 feet away. He was listening to a short woman in a power suit list percentages, but his eyes were scanning the room like a predator looking for a weak gazelle. Or in this case, a marketing assistant holding a lukewarm latte. Don't look at him. You are scenery. You are a potted plant. You are a texture file that hasn't loaded yet. I turned on my heel, clutching the chief's coffee so hard the lid threatened to pop. I stared intently at the elevator buttons, pressing the up arrow as if sheer force would summon the car faster. Hold on. A baritone voice echoed off the marble. The air left the room. The clicking of heels, the hum of conversation, the sound of the barista steaming milk. It all died. I didn't turn around. Maybe he was talking to someone else. Maybe there was another hold-on recipient. You. The voice was closer now. With the latte. My spine fused into a solid rod of terror. I slowly turned around. Liam Sterling was standing right there. Up close, he didn't look like the candid skier from the group chat. He looked like a shark in Italian wool. His eyes were icy blue, sharp, and currently narrowed directly at my ID badge. Chloe, he read aloud. His voice lacked the goofy energy of Julian's loyal bitch. It was pure CEO. Sir, I squeaked. I cleared my throat, trying to channel my inner, abstract heiress, but failing miserably. Mr. Sterling, I'm just heading back to marketing. He tilted his head, studying my face with an intensity that made me want to dissolve into the floor. He looked at my hair, my cheap blazer, the coffee cup. Then, a spark of recognition flickered in his eyes. It wasn't the look of a boss recognizing an employee. It was the look of a chaotic internet troll recognizing a fellow meme lord.
He pulled out his phone.
He looked at the screen, then back at me. Then, he grinned. It wasn't a nice grin. It was the grin of a man who just found a cheat code. Chloe from marketing, he said, the corner of his mouth twitching. Interesting. You know, you look a lot like a friend of mine's ex-girlfriend. She just broke his heart. Brutal stuff. Ghosted him completely. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. That's unfortunate, sir. I'm sure he'll recover. Rich people usually do. I bit my tongue immediately. Why did I say that? Liam's eyebrows shot up. The corporate mask slipped for a split second, revealing the messy gamer underneath. He stepped closer, dropping his voice so the entourage couldn't hear. You'd be surprised, he murmured. Some of them are dramatic little bitches. Enjoy the coffee, Chloe. He stepped back, signaled his terrified entourage, and swept toward the exit. But just before he pushed through the revolving doors, he looked back at me and winked. I got on the elevator and hyperventilated all the way to the 14th floor. 2 weeks passed. My life was a gray blur of spreadsheets, instant ramen, and staring at my phone. I had successfully nuked my relationship with Julian. The group chat was gone. His contact was blocked. I was safe from exposure, but I was miserable. I missed him. I missed the late-night Discord calls where he'd ramble about imperial decrees, board meetings, and I'd complain about peasant uprisings, my laundry. I missed his laugh. I missed the way he made me feel like I was the main character in a movie, not just an extra in the background of his wealthy life. But silence was better than being sued for fraud, right? Work, however, had gotten weird. It started with the chair. My squeaky, spinal disc herniating office chair was gone. In its place was an ergonomic Herman Miller Aeron. Where did this come from? I asked Sarah, spinning in it. It felt like sitting on a cloud made of money. Sarah shrugged, looking jealous. Maintenance swapped it. Said the old one was a liability. Why didn't they swap mine? My back sounds like a bag of chips when I stand up. Then it was the coffee. The break room sludge was replaced by a high-end espresso machine. Specifically, the brand I had mentioned once in a passing text to Julian 3 months ago. And then, the work itself. The mindless data entry tasks stopped landing on my desk. Instead, I was getting invited to strategy meetings. Silent observer roles, my boss called them, but I was actually in the room. I felt like I was being haunted. A very wealthy, very specific poltergeist. On a Tuesday afternoon, the haunting became literal. Chloe, my section chief said, looking pale. Mr. Sterling wants to see you. The office went silent. Sarah looked at me with wide eyes, mouthing RIP. I walked to the elevator, like a woman marching to the guillotine. I smoothed my skirt, checked my breath, and ascended to the top floor, the floor I didn't have clearance for. The executive suite was quieter than a library. The carpet was so thick I felt like I was walking on moss. Liam's assistant, a woman who looked like she ran the UN in her spare time, nodded at the double doors. Go right in. I pushed the doors open. Liam was sitting on a sofa, not behind his desk. He had a PS5 controller in his hands, and on the massive wall-mounted screen, he was losing a match of FIFA. You suck at defense, I said before I could stop myself. Liam paused the game and turned around. And you suck at breaking up with people. Sit down. He pointed to the armchair opposite him.
Iset.
My hands were shaking, so I clasped them in my lap. Am I fired? I asked.
No.
You're actually doing great. Marketing numbers are up. He tossed the controller onto the cushion. But my best friend is currently useless, and it's costing me money. He grabbed an iPad from the table and slid it across to me. Look. I looked. It was a photo of Julian. But not the cool, collected Julian I imagined. He was sitting on the floor of what looked like a palace, surrounded by empty takeout boxes, my favorite cheap Chinese place, wearing a hoodie that hadn't been washed in days. He looked devastated. He hasn't shaved in a week, Liam said, sounding disgusted. He's skipping board meetings to play League on a Smurf account, hoping he runs into you. He's listening to sad indie pop. It's disgusting. Sterling Corp stock dipped 0.4% because he missed a keynote speech. I stared at the photo. My chest ached. I didn't think he'd care that much. He's Julian. Liam sighed, leaning back. The guy is intense. When he commits, he commits. He thinks you dumped him because he was too clingy. He has no idea it's because you had a panic attack about his bank account. I looked up sharply. You know. Chloe, please. I run a tech conglomerate. I did a background check on you the second Julian added you to the chat. I knew you were a broke college grad working in my marketing department before you even sent that cat sticker. And you didn't tell him?
No. Liam grinned.
Because it was funny. And because Julian doesn't care about money. He cares that you're the only person who roasts him without wanting something from him. Or at least he thought so. Liam stood up and walked to the window, looking out over the city. Here's the deal. I have a company gala this Friday. Mandatory attendance for executive staff. I'm not executive staff, I reminded him. You are now. Congratulations, you've been promoted to junior liaison of something. I'll have HR make up a title. You're coming to the gala. Julian will be there. No. I stood up. I can't face him. He thinks I'm some abstract art girl who travels the world. If he sees me in a dress from Ross, working for his friend, he'll realize I'm a liar. Liam turned back to me, his face serious. He already knows you're a liar, Chloe. He just doesn't know why. That hit me like a physical slap. Friday, Liam said, checking his watch. 7 p.m. Don't be late, or I actually will fire you. And Sarah. I know you like Sarah. The dress wasn't from Ross. Liam had sent a stylist to my apartment. I was currently wearing a midnight blue gown that cost more than my student loans combined. My hair was swept up, my makeup was flawless, and I felt like a fraud wrapped in silk. The gala was held at the Sterling estate. Of course it was. It was exactly like the movies. Chandeliers the size of cars, waiters with champagne, a string quartet playing pop covers. The air smelled like expensive perfume and old money. I stood near a chocolate fountain, hoping to blend in with the dessert. Sister-in-law. A voice chirped. I jumped. Archer and Spencer were standing there. They looked exactly like their profile pictures. Rich, handsome, and terrifying. We aren't dating anymore, I whispered, looking around frantically. And I work here. Please don't get me fired. Spencer laughed, grabbing a strawberry. Liam told us. The NPC uprising, he called it. Ballsy move. Ghosting a Sterling. We have a betting pool on how long it takes for him to cry when he sees you. You guys are awful, I said, but my fear was oddly receding. They were just guys. Guys in $5,000 tuxedos, but guys. There he is. Archer nodded toward the grand staircase. The crowd parted. Julian was descending the stairs. My breath caught. He cleaned up well. He was wearing a black tuxedo that fit him like a second skin. He looked regal, untouchable, the prince of the city. He was nodding politely to a senator, but his eyes were dead. He looked bored, tired, and lonely. Go get him, Tiger. Liam appeared behind me, shoving me gently forward. I stumbled a few steps into the open floor. Julian turned. His eyes swept over the crowd, uninterested, until they locked onto me. He stopped mid-step. The senator kept talking, but Julian wasn't listening. He stared at me across the ballroom. For a second, I wanted to run. I wanted to bolt through the kitchen and hide in my apartment forever. But then I remembered the photo of him in the hoodie. I remembered the nights we spent laughing about nothing. He walked down the rest of the stairs. He ignored the people trying to shake his hand. He walked straight through the crowd, which seemed to part instinctively for him. He stopped 2 feet away from me. Up close, he looked tired. There were circles under his eyes. Chloe, he said. His voice was that familiar deep rumble, but it sounded fragile.
Is it?
You look. He searched for the word. Real. I am real, I said, my voice trembling. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Julian. Why? He asked. He didn't sound angry, just confused. Was it something I said? Was the Empress Dowager joke too much? I can tone down the roleplay. No. I laughed, a tear slipping out.
God, no. Julian, look at me.
I work in marketing. I make $45,000 a year. I eat instant noodles because I have to, not because it's culinary irony. I live in a studio apartment that smells like wet dog, and I don't even have a dog. I took a deep breath. I freaked out. When I realized who you were, who all of you were, I felt like a con artist. I thought once you saw the real me, the broke, boring, average me, you'd laugh and leave. So I left first. Julian stared at me. The silence stretched for an eternity. The string quartet was playing a violin version of Bad Romance. Then, Julian started to laugh. It wasn't a mean laugh. It was a relief laugh. He laughed so hard, he doubled over. The entire room turned to look at us. That's it, he wheezed, straightening up and wiping his eyes. You dumped me, you broke my heart because you're poor? Well, when you say it like that, it sounds stupid. I crossed my arms defensible. Chloe. He stepped closer, ignoring the hundreds of eyes on us. He reached out and took my hands. His hands were warm. I know you're poor. You complained about the price of sausages. You have a cracked screen protector in every screenshot you send. I figured it out months ago. My jaw dropped. You knew? I don't care about the money, he said, his thumb brushing my knuckle. Do you have any idea how boring these people are? He gestured vaguely at the room full of millionaires. They talk about tax loops and golf. You talk about how a raccoon stole your bagel. You're the most interesting person I've ever met. I fell in love with your brain, you idiot. Not your bank account. He paused, looking suddenly shy. And I miss my carry. I've lost 12 games in a row. It's embarrassing. I sniffled, half laughing. You really suck at League. I know, he grinned. So? Are we done being dramatic? Can we go back to being delusional weirdos? Please. I looked at him. Really looked at him. I didn't see the billions of dollars. I just saw the guy who stayed up until 3 a.m. to comfort me when I had the flu, the guy who sent me memes, the guy who was currently looking at me like I was the only person in the room. Okay, I whispered. But I'm keeping the ergonomic chair Liam gave me.
Deal.
He leaned in and kissed me. It wasn't an abstract kiss. It was very, very concrete. Somewhere in the background, I heard wolf whistles. Get a room, Liam yelled. The aftermath was exactly as chaotic as I expected. We didn't keep it a secret. There was no point. The next day, the company gossip mill was on fire. I walked into the office and 3 people bowed to me.
Actual boss.
Stop it, I hissed at Sarah. You're dating the Prince of Tech, she whispered, wide-eyed. Can you get me a raise? I'll work on it. I didn't quit my job. I liked my job, especially now that people actually listened to my ideas. Liam, or Bossman as I now called him to his face, kept me in marketing but gave me a legitimate promotion. I was now the social media director, which mostly meant I got paid to make memes for the official corporate account. But the best part was the group chat. I was re-added that night. Liam, Julian's loyal bitch, added Chloe to the trust fund bros. Archer. The Queen returns. Spencer. Thank God. Julian was about to start writing poetry. It was getting dark. Julian, shut up. Chloe. I missed you, rich freaks. Liam. So, sister-in-law. Now that you're official. Poker night on Friday? Chloe. Only if we play for pennies. I'm not betting my rent. Julian. I'll cover your buy-in.
Chloe, no.
I pay my own way. But if I win, you guys have to eat the instant noodles. The spicy ones. Archer.
I'm scared.
Chloe, you should be. Life with Julian wasn't perfect. We still had to navigate the weirdness of our worlds colliding. I had to learn which fork to use at dinner parties, and he had to learn that you can't just buy a new toaster every time the old one gets dirty. But we found our rhythm. One night, about 6 months later, we were at his family estate, which was actually just a really nice house in the hills. We were sitting on the floor eating takeout pizza directly from the box. He was wearing an old t-shirt, and I was wearing one of his hoodies that was 3 sizes too big. Mom called, he said, chewing a slice of pepperoni. She wants us to come for tea on Sunday. The Empress Dowager summons us. I laughed, leaning my head on his shoulder. Tell the Empress I'll be there. But I'm wearing sneakers. She'll hate it. Julian kissed the top of my head. It'll be perfect. I looked at the TV screen, where our game was paused. We were delusional weirdos, maybe. But it turned out that living in a fantasy wasn't so bad, as long as the reality was just as good. Ready to lose? I asked, picking up my controller. Never, Julian grinned. I have the best player in the world on my team. We unpaused the game. And for the record, we absolutely crushed it.